Mr. Crook showed us their work as an example of like good photography.
Right.
And it was like loads of fucking nude pictures of this guy's sister.
Sorry, nude pictures?
Yeah. You couldn't see her tits or vag.
Oh, right. So tasteful.
But she was nude. She was just like covering them up with eclairs and Bakewell tarts.
She was in a bathtub full of beans.
Oh Christ! That's worse than shit porn.
Oh, man.
I think no, definitely the beans. But still, that's grim.
It is fucking grim.
I'd have to get into a shower and why would anyone do that?
I imagine it would cause problems. Yeah,
I've seen the bathtub full of beans. Is it a trope? I don't know, but I've seen it in many different places, and I always think, how do you get rid of the beans? That's not going to go down the plug hole, is it?
Yeah. When they get dug up there, oof, you're gonna have to wait for that's down to the passage of time.
You use the same cans that you opened, and I guess you just put them back in the cans. And take them back to the store.
Is you unscrew the fucking bathtub into the hinges and you just fucking wheel it out the front door and just leave it in the fucking street until it becomes the community's problem.
If you've got into your bathtub of beans and you're not selling your house tomorrow, you have made a strategic error. That you've got to leave it for the next person to deal with. What's the weirdest thing that you've been left by the previous owner or the previous renter of a home?
I would say when I moved in here, the landlady, who was like this amateur painter or whatever, and she was trying to sell me and my girlfriend on the fact that she does like replicas for like set dressing and stuff like that. I think she was trying to sell us on the fact that she had a couple of briefs from like the BBC and this, that, and the other, and we took that with a pinch of salt. But there was this one painting, and it was supposed to be a replica of something from Titanic.
Okay. It's a replica of a painting in the background in Titanic. That doesn't... Okay.
Yeah, I know. It didn't add up either, because I think it was supposed to be like the nude of like Kate Winslet, right?
Oh, right, okay.
For whatever... Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
It was just Mario making out with Sonic. With the finger up the bum and everything. Sorry, go on.
It was painted with like I think she was looking at angle the figure, or the face wasn't painted, but it was the famous kind of pose on the couch and what have you.
Paint me like one of your birds, Jack.
And you can kind of see there was enough skill there that if this was set dressing in the background, you could see why. All right, fine, you can cut stuff, but we just kind of had to like nod along to that. Yeah, it's great, and. I said, well, this is here. The current tenants will be moving a lot of this stuff out, this, that, and the other. Okay, fine. We turn up, and this thing isn't here. Now, what I haven't specified is this thing is like 15 feet fucking wide. It's an absolutely fucking huge. And
it was painted by a Leonardo Retardo.
Basically, yeah.
Right,
It's really, really, really bad. I mean, that was competent, but there's other stuff that she's left here. So we had that fucking painting, which we got rid of. We had to call her up and say, look, I know we went through the inventory, but obviously there was a breakdown in communication. We can't have this, and this. There was an additional cupboard.
When you say this, and this, it's like, yeah, she had a filing cabinet, and then she had a few shelves that she'd left, and then she had her four-poster bed that she was sleeping in right there.
There are a lot more unnecessary cupboards, and if you're trying to give us this hard sell that you can't move any of it.
Sorry, well, no worries then. We'll just throw it away.
Well, we kind of had to make a soft threat there, but it's like, yeah, we don't need this shit. This filing cabinet was like 40 years old.
Yeah,
right?
I imagine you never get a new filing cabinet, Damien. Who has a new filing cabinet? It's not something you move in somewhere.
I don't think people, modern families really do that.
Yes, you don't need to file things away like that anymore because they have a thing now called digital.
They have a computer.
I'm a computer-y guy. And that brings us to the topic of the week. Movies that should be video games, or video games that should be movies. I don't know, whatever. Damien, Bob, before we get onto that, finish your story.
Oh, was there anything? Oh, no, there was just shit. There was old, decrepit shit.
I fucking hate life. Even computer games, I can't get away. Can't get away from anything now. Fuck, I have to play as a woman. I have to play as a woman, Damien, in the World War II game that's just come out. World War II 2. It's fucking shit.
Is it shit?
I bet you don't know what I'm talking about, even.
I've absolutely no idea. I kind of feel like I've had a small stroke because it feels like there's a huge jump in conversation there.
It's
clearly much more fascinating. Fuck that. Tell me more about World War II 2.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about either. I've noticed that every subject we do, we're both very much of the opinion of having no opinion about it.
You'd say something. No, you.
Hey, Damien, do you want to watch a crappy B movie from the 80s? Some people love them, you know. Some people really get into them and they really enjoy them. Not me, though. I think that they're just pretty crap. Not really bad, just pretty kind of dated and crap, and not really worth talking about. Let's talk about them!
I can see why some people like them. I can see why some people don't like them.
I will never watch this one ever again.
But I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm not saying it's excellent. Join in next week.
I guess I'm saying it's bad. It's just not bad enough to be remarkable. It certainly isn't excellent. Oh, are you thinking of any particular example? Because I'm definitely thinking about the stuff.
Oh, I thought we were kind of lukewarm on Birdemic as well. Oh, no, not lukewarm. Very kind of
and brain damage.
Ambiguous, yeah.
Brain damage. I know there's some people who absolutely love that.
I'm sure I said it before, but I remember when we first watched that, I attribute it now to being off my tits. But I remember really enjoying that, really thinking that was interesting. But upon review, many years later, I had something else to say.
Yeah, I guess.
You know full well what I'm talking about.
So I guess I should say welcome to the George Rockall-Schmidt Show. We're only 13 minutes in. I better do this now. Now, what I should say is, if you're coming here expecting us to talk about cum, that isn't the sort of talk we do here.
Really?
Serious.
That was well out of left field. I was going to say it's very much on the cards. It's anyone's guess as to when, really. But pray continue. I should have interrupted. That was rude. That was unbecoming.
Damien, do you know what the 4 things that matter most about making a good video game?
Is the 4th one cum by any chance?
None of them are cum.
Oh! This is going to be a proper discussion.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Yes. What?
Okay.
Do you know what really matters in video games? Bloody gameplay. And do you know what's good sometimes? Well, not every time. A good story. Not every time. Good user interface. That makes a good video game. Good use of colours.
But it's not necessarily necessary, because games can be good, but that could be shit. But it can let it off the hook if it's a good game.
That's my new channel. I'm going to delete that old George Rockall-Schmidt shit, and I'm just going to have a channel now called That Could Be Good, but It Could Be Shit. Game. No, the 4 things that matter the most are. Come on, you know this. You know what the answer is.
Graphics.
No, come on. What matters the most?
Oh, fucking hell. I have 4 words for you. They were all just, stood at the size of the stage there. So that we knew this was going to happen. We were not briefed that this specifically was going to happen. That he'd be on the floor. He's taking his shirt off now. What is he doing? What is he doing?
No, I support the taking his shirt off thing because he looks like he might die wearing that shirt. He needs ice. We need ice down here now. Steve Ballmer's on stage.
Yeah, all right. We're going to have to restrict his movements, all right? Get him pinned down. We need this ice blanket and a lot of weight. All right, we need to bring this... he need to bring his core temperature down soon, or there are going to be some serious problems. He will pass out. There might be brain damage. All right?
We're not saying this will happen, but it has happened. Not to him, but maybe to him. Also, after he passes out from heat stroke, that's the first stage of Hulkization. Okay? I'm not saying that we could be dealing with a 30-foot Steve Ballmer, but we could. All right?
All right, so a different kind of. So it's not that he gets like a
just
slightly
get
taller or
muscly, he just gets
muscly,
really
he just gets
tall.
really, really tall. Like perfectly proportioned as well.
He's still fat.
I mean, this wouldn't be a problem necessarily for other people. Maybe it would be kind of difficult socially for himself, on a person-to-person basis. It might make his day-to-day life a bit more, haphazard. But the thing is, he'll still be running at that temperature. And at that kind of mass, that's going to cause a lot of fucking problems for everyone around him.
How come every time we reference anything that was a meme or in some way popular on the internet, it's from pretty much exactly 8 to 10 years ago? Yeah. It is.
Oh, because...
But we're both on the internet, and we haven't stopped looking around on the internet in that time.
No, I found something I liked 8 years ago, and I settled on that. I planted my flag, and I'm done. Really, I keep my internet to the bare minimum.
No, but you know that's not quite true, because 6 years ago we did watch Team Fortress 2 shit and things like that, and we do look around. I guess.
I thought the Team Fortress ship was like 4 years old at that point.
But I look at meme stuff, and I don't know. It's just not what the internet was 10 years ago.
I know.
Obviously,
I don't know. I think that's bullshit. I feel like since that time in the 8 year gap, I think my brain is kind of calcified, and it just doesn't really accept any kind of new input. And so I mean, everything that I kind of see is kind of intellectually on par. I have my thing. That's the only. That triggered it in my head once, and now it's just kind of crusted over, and it's just not accepting anything new.
Well, now you've got me thinking, and I disagree with you. I actually think that, not for everything, definitely, but 10 years ago when people were making stuff like Hanson volcano rocks and things like that, editing software was far harder to come by, and I imagine a little bit more difficult to use. Uploading was way more difficult to kind of figure out. I mean, if you're like, if you've never done it before, I think that all the stuff that was coming out 10 years ago was done by people who knew what they were doing, and it was kind of ironic and intelligent, and not always by any means highbrow at all, but pretty self-aware. And I think a lot of the stuff now is just actually retarded.
Well, yeah, potentially. I think you could be onto something there.
And all the stuff 10 years ago, the joke isn't, look at how retarded this is.
I should be at work right now.
I should be at work right now, but I'm editing this daft video, lol.
I suppose so. I've seen a lot of stuff, and it just kind of makes my eyes roll when I see, like, it's 12, 13, 14-year-olds, making jokes that I saw like fucking 10 years ago, granted by people that were probably that should have known better for their age. Had the technology come around a couple of years earlier, it's what we would have spent too much time at school doing, I think.
What did we do at school? I certainly didn't do any learning.
No, we would just send fucking emails to each other with just fucking shit-mouthing people, I seem to remember.
I mean, I remember my 2 chemistry books just covered in drawings.
Yeah, they were gleefully fucking graffitiing all that stuff.
Why were we allowed to get away with that?
Well, because we had teachers without any fucking backbone whatsoever.
Me and Damien would basically, we would have there'd be 2 days a week where the whole afternoon would be the sciences. God, it sounds like we were born in the 50s. The sciences, and then we'll be learning about the Pakistan.
Well, for all intents and purposes, those textbooks would have been like 10 to 15 years out of date. So, we were
which is the
learning
50s.
Stuff which was kind of applicable, like, early 90s.
Yeah, no, we definitely had a German textbook which would talk about the fall of the Berlin Wall like it happened 4 years ago. Oh, no, actually, we had one older than that, because we had a German textbook where it was talking about how to say, my favourite film is this, or my favourite type of film is a comedy. And all the pictures were like Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Terminator, and fucking Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder, and stuff like that. Seriously, they were old. I guess the language hasn't changed that much. You don't need to have a new textbook. But then again, they have changed that big old B to 2 S's. The way they write 2 S's was different. I guess they didn't want SS in their language anymore for some reason. But but then they changed it back, and basically the German teacher said, every time you see that, disregard it. And it appeared like at least 3 times a sentence.
Yeah. I remember that as well.
Yeah. But yeah, basically we spent our entire school days
Fucking
drawing and occasionally doing naughty things, but not very often.
Oh.
Yeah. Occasionally.
Yeah, and these weren't kind of idle doodles either. I mean, if they weren't...
Oh,
like,
no, they were like Caravaggios. They were huge. They were like murals.
Well, you know, they had some of the textbooks which were like almost A3 size, and I remember, you know, I don't know if I mentioned it here before, but there's one shit skid that we went to school with, and I did a nice cartoon of him in kabuki makeup, but with this massive fucking schlong for a nose, exquisitely drawn.
Exquisite's the wrong word. Overdrawn.
Yeah, there was a lot. Too much time went into shading and the veins and stuff.
The teacher told you he thought it was disgusting, but he never made you get rid of it.
No, it's just like, you need to cover that up. It's like, I rather suppose I do, sir. And that was the last that was ever said on the matter.
It's bizarre.
No action was taken.
I don't think we were intimidating or anything.
No, not at all.
No.
I think I don't know. Maybe these guys have no backbone, but I think what was that
They just
guy?
didn't
That was Mr. Ratcliffe. Yeah, I think he was just broken. He's like, oh well, I should probably mention this, but if another teacher sees it, they'll expect me to do something. But they're not going to do fuck all. I don't care.
I mean, obviously the teachers should have kind of hunkered us into line, so we at least didn't disrupt anybody else's learning, but they didn't. And
Well,
I don't know. Yeah, go on.
I don't think we were particularly disrupted. There were other kids that needed a fucking smack around the fucking chops, definitely.
Yeah.
But we were quite insular. We just, we would draw away and kind of joke with, between ourselves, and that would really kind of be it for the most part. It was very rare that we would kind of fuck around with anybody else's business.
Yeah.
On the rare occasion.
We were just working out how to steal the entire science tool cabinet week by week.
or Chris Paul's pencil case. Just slowly fucking chop that up. He's got a new one. Can you see? It's all fucking shiny. Yes, I can. I can see that. That is a fucking beauty. Get the scissors.
Yeah, when people say, oh, your childhood was the best time of your lives, I do understand it. We said this before as well. It isn't so much about it being good. It's about later adulthood being utter shit.
Utter garbage, yes, I agree.
And I do think to myself, what am I going to be doing when I'm 45? What am I going to be doing when I'm 50? And I never thought that when I was 15. I never thought, like, I have to look for a job next year. What am I going to be doing? I was much more like, he's got a lighter. Wouldn't it be great if I could steal his lighter and set him on fire with his own lighter? The perfect crime.
You see the magnesium strips on the teacher's desks there, and there's a lighter there. Yeah, but we've got Bunsen burners. There's a lighter. It doesn't belong to me, you see. That's the allure.
Maybe the lighter could be destroyed in the process.
Maybe the magnesium strips can go inside the pencil case with the lighter. Oh, George, what are you doing? My pencil case.
Why does your pencil case say Titmeister Enlarge on it?
Sorry, can you just stand up and take this to the front? Explain to the class.
Do you remember when Mr. Ratcliffe walked in and Boothie was stood at the whiteboard and he was desperately thumbing off the words that he'd written in permanent marker, thinking it was whiteboard marker, Mr. Ratcliffe is a twat. And it wasn't coming off.
Yeah. And, typical of Ratcliffe, he kind of takes one look, he doesn't smile. He's not part of the joke. He's not going to participate. But he just fucking goes and sits down. Like Booth, he keeps going at it for like another 20 seconds.
Yeah,
He's a
he
man,
did.
right?
He did. Oh,
and then he just skulks the fuck off. We just have to fucking deal with that for the rest of the lesson. And it's just there written over his fucking head. He's just having to write around it. Oh, fucking hell.
He's not even the teacher that got bullied the most.
No, not at all.
We know who that is, don't we? Do you want to say the name at the same time? See if we're thinking of the same person.
I would think so.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Frau Woodward.
Frau Woodward, yeah.
Do you want to explain who Frau Woodward was?
She was one of the languages teachers, and we had her for German, I think it was.
Who knows?
Well, yeah, if we were called her, yeah, she was Frau Wood. We weren't having fucking Spanish.
See, you can't teach that sort of logic. Unless her first name was Frau. Unless her full name was Senora Frau Woodward.
She was our German teacher, and she taught us and one of the other forms, the most problematic form in the year. In hindsight, I guess.
Yeah, I think when you say form, do other people have
class?
forms?
Yeah, I guess you call it.
Yeah. Our class was not a bad class.
No, I think we were quite vanilla. There were a couple of shitheads, but most of them were they were pretty harmless. But there was one form which I just guess the school decided to, harangue all the yobs into one fucking class.
That's the form I used to be in. For a little while.
Am I right in saying that when we had her, that was one of her first years at that?
She was, I guess she was in
maybe
her
teaching
mid-40s.
Yeah, something like that.
And she decided to take up teaching as a second career. We were the first year she ever taught.
Right, okay. I had the idea that, this is her first time teaching, I want to say higher education, that's not right, but middle education. She'd maybe worked with really young kids up until this point.
Okay, well, maybe.
But this woman was completely, ill-equipped for this fucking job. And yeah, she was, I would say, mid-40s, and she had this kind of shock of very kind of bright ginger hair, right? Really, orange. Mm-hmm. And within the space of 1 year of having to deal with not so much us, but this other fucking class, went from this kind of fiery orange to completely snow fucking white. Whatever these people were doing to her was just, she must have been hiding under the fucking table every fucking lesson.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable transformation. And I mean, we weren't responsible for that. We, all we ever did, I mean, not just me and you, the entire class, we would just keep on talking. She'd be quiet, please, and people would be like, I don't care, I don't respect you. Quiet, please, and people would just keep talking.
Yeah, I heard a lot of stories of her leaving the class in tears.
Right, and teaching is, well, like many professions, but it's like being a fucking sergeant major, right? You can't stand in front of the men and say, would everybody please be quiet at the back. All right, attention. All right.
Sorry, pardon. Sorry, I'm talking. Yes.
I'm talking.
No,
sorry,
please.
All right. Well, I'll let you finish the sentence. No, you don't do that. I'm not saying she should have been a fucking bitch, but you've got to command some respect. You've got to inspire people a little bit, or you've got to kind of make people go, "Oh, yes, miss."
Yeah, you have to fucking shout. You really have to fucking shout.
Yeah, just tell the kids shut up. I guess a meltdown over a year, and it was not a bad school at all. It was kind of pretty tame. I went to a school before that, which was sort of like an inner city school, and God, they'd have eaten her alive.
One of our friends, when his parents were splitting up, he was really, 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 really upset about it. And there's this one kid who was this fucking grungy little yob. He got to teasing this guy about his parents splitting up, and this dude just fucking launched, just jumped straight on the fucking table and started kind of bearing down at him. Didn't lurch to grab him or anything like that, but just kind of, fucking stuck his chest out and was just going to land on him. And at that point, Miss Woodward just fucking cowered. She completely fucking, she was sat like the fucking desk, but you could see it, just the body language, she shot completely straight down.
Really?
Oh, she was terrified, yeah. She's like, what do I do? I mean, because this guy at this point...
He was like 6 foot.
Yeah, he probably 6'6", something like that. He was a big guy. Even at this point, we would have been maybe 14, 15, I want to say.
Yeah, that's how we would sound as well.
Yes.
Do not insult the crusty box. Speaking of which, never mind, go on, continue.
But that's very much like where that story goes. She was just fucking shitting bricks all the time. That was like the most full-on thing I saw in the room, and that was not that bad, really, because there wasn't any violence in the end. There was just a lot of posturing. Granted, it happened very quickly. It was kind of alarming, but that's not too much. The guy backed down almost immediately anyway, sat back down and fucking got on with his shit. But I can't. I mean, if that was enough to fucking rattle you, Jesus. I mean, it's unsurprising that she was this fucking shambling mess by the end of the year.
Yes.
I'm fairly certain within like the next year or two, she fucking packed it in or something.
Without really even being nasty to her, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope for her. I hope for the sake of the education of other children, and mainly, really, for the sake of her health. I hope she did, because it did not suit her.
Fuck it. Anyway, so you were about to launch into something. I can only guess what it was going to be.
Oh, can you only guess?
I can only guess if it was Simpsons related, what you might have wanted to mention.
What do you think is Simpsons related?
I don't know. It could be something to do with its creator, Matt Groening.
Oh, really? He's a creator? Cause if you eat shit and then just shit it out again, I don't really think that's a creator, Damien.
You're repurposing something.
I just think you're regurgitating the same old shit. I don't know what that would be called. A regurgitating shitter or something.
Ah, so you have seen it then?
I've seen it a little bit, yeah.
Enough. Yeah. I mean, obviously, I think people can fucking grasp what we're talking about, but I don't think it's even worth mentioning by the fucking name.
Well, let's not then.
Move, and that concludes Netflix chat.
I've also been continuing to watch shit. Over and over again. Have you seen it?
Yes, I've seen most of it.
I didn't. Oh, have you? Okay, I've only seen 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, well that's it's. I had a morbid curiosity and time on my hands, but it's awful. It's just so kind of I want to say out of date. It's just
it's worse than bad Futurama.
Yeah, it most definitely is, and it's really shocking to hear Matt Berry in there as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and realize like, oh, yeah, you're a hack too.
Yeah, it's if you one of the other really kind of naff voice actors, naff choices, I would say. I don't know if it's a little bit later on, but they got Noel Fielding in there as well.
Wow. Okay. So okay.
And it's really, really, really weird having kind of these English actors in it, because you've got, I don't know what the woman's name's like, maybe Tress MacNeille or something like that, who does the same kind of old hag voice and everything. And it's synonymous with The Simpsons and Futurama. And you see it in here. And between the two shows, you've seen like the same voice actors kind of do these mock kind of English accents.
Gentlemen, I give you Britannia! Gambling with all the glitz and glamour of the British Isles. And best of all, the waitresses and showgirls are all real Brits. Fresh from the Strait to Sussex, they are.
Freshen your drink, Governor.
Get out.
Then they kind of try to transplant these, actual English people into it. It's absolutely, it boggles me. It sticks out so bad, and it's just, it makes it really difficult to kind of watch.
Obviously, this doesn't have any bearing on the quality of the show, but the title led me to believe maybe this is Matt Groening saying, hey, I'm really sorry that I completely sold my integrity for that, and I have been doing that. I'm really sorry I have been prostituting myself for the last 20 years. And this is my attempt to make up for that with something new and something special and something I believe in. And it's just the same shit.
It is entirely the same shit. I mean, I saw a lot of people like blasting it on the internet, and no one addressed. They talked about not so much plot holes, but just like gags which just don't hold up, or not so much hold up. They just fall flat.
They're just not.
But no one kind of made like the parallel between like the characters. I mean, it's almost exactly the same. No one drew the parallel between like Fry, Leela, and Bender, and it's the same 3 fucking characters, really.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like so fucking shameless. Yeah, I mean, I don't have like any kind of more considered critique. I went into this because I've been obviously quite disillusioned with Simpsons for a long time, and a lot of I would say like 50% of Futurama. I went into this looking to kind of shit on it, and it definitely delivered in that regard. My specific purpose for watching it delivered, which in and of itself is satisfying, but the show itself is fucking bobbins.
I know people might disagree with me, but I think that one of the things I liked about The Simpsons was it wasn't vanilla. And I think often people think it is. is vanilla because it's so pervasive. It's everywhere. And even I grew up with The Simpsons. The Simpsons is even older than me. I don't know. I always thought The Simpsons was subversive. And looking at it now as an adult, the first 10 series, they are very subversive. They've got a lot of stuff going on, and I kind of liked it because it was almost pretending to be normal, but clearly wasn't. And fucking, this is just the most boring vanilla shit that he's put out now. And that's what The Simpsons has turned into. It's just white noise.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I understand. I would have used the term milquetoast. Really, it's just very, very plain. But I think that's kind of symptomatic of like the guy's age. Really, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but is that what everyone is doomed to? That doesn't mean you have to produce garbage, does it? There's a book about M. Night Shyamalan's film and the creation of that film. The film is Lady in the Water. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
It's from, I think, 2006, and it's a film he made while he still had credibility. He's the butt of lots of jokes now, but it was before that really happened to him.
Right, okay.
M. Night Shyamalan, it's easy to forget, he made 4 films that, for Disney, between them, made over $2 billion.
Right, okay.
At one of the points in his career, at an early point in his career, he was one of the most bankable directors in the world, and incredibly respected because of that. And he made The Lady in the Water, which is a film a lot of people haven't seen, and I only recently saw, and it's baffling, and it's very bad, because it's written by someone who is not trying to bridge any disconnect between ourselves and the audience. It started off as a bedtime story for his own kids that he made up, and it totally comes across like that. Like, I have no idea what he's talking about in any of this film. And it just comes across as bizarre and very hacky, right. and it's just crap. But I feel it's sincere, but it's just crap. They explain in this book that at the end of shooting, M. Night sent around a questionnaire to everyone, or to a lot of people, and it asked them questions about what they thought about things, and the last question just said, finish this sentence. And it said, I believe, ... Right? And Paul Giamatti was the lead on this film, and Paul Giamatti on his form wrote, I believe Shakespeare didn't write any of those fucking plays. M. Night Shyamalan, he did make those films, but that doesn't mean anything, I think is what Paul Giamatti was saying.
Right, okay.
Do you know what do you think he was saying? Have I even explained that clearly? I don't know. I
would go with he was just fucking around. If I was given something like that, I would kind of be incensed.
No, I think Paul Giamatti was saying that the guy had made some good films, but he was a hack. He wasn't saying anything about Shakespeare, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was using it as an analogy. And I think that's the same thing with a lot of media, but perhaps The Simpsons. The Simpsons was brilliant, but maybe it wasn't brilliant because of Matt Groening.
Well, I don't know. I remember what my point was going to be. And my point was that after it became so fucking huge, I think that Groening found himself in a bubble. Really, he's made so much money with this stuff now.
Okay,
no one is telling him no anymore. Right? There's no one. He's not being told. Yeah,
but
it's a creative vacuum. So he's not. And he just loses his edge because there's no one telling him no. What he can just make whatever he fucking likes.
Yeah, but no one was saying to Stanley Kubrick, no. Shelley Duvall's only doing 2 takes. No one told him that, and he didn't produce garbage.
Well, maybe Matt Groening was good when he was given some form of adversity, but with free reign, he clearly just didn't have the fucking chops. And I think maybe this is I think the show in question is symptomatic of that. I don't think anyone kind of, told him that he's going to have to this isn't good enough, go back, fucking knuckle down and fucking tighten it up. I think they were like, yeah, it's Groening, it's fine. He's made so much money. A lot of people will check this out just for the namesake alone, which is exactly what we did.
Yeah, well, and the fact that it looks exactly the same as the Futurama and the Simpsons.
Mm.
I mean, it's the same, it's exactly the same style.
Yeah.
Which is also strange. Like, why do that?
Yeah. with CG, which is still on par with
Futurama.
what they were doing in Futurama 20 years ago. So it's like, fucking hell.
I don't know, I can't speak for the guy, but if I was Matt Groening, when I did Futurama, I would have really enjoyed looking at a different style of animating it. That would have been one of the key things for me was, oh great, I get to do a new series. Let's animate it in a completely different way. Let's make it look really different. I don't know, I would have thought, that would have been really fun. When he did Futurama, people were saying, do what you want. Do what you want. Make it however you want. I mean, I'd have been like, let's make it like a fucking Van Gogh painting all the time or something.
Yeah, well, I think maybe they could have maybe like hints of that in like the title sequence when they had what would foreshadow whatever happens in the episode, but with this kind of minimalized kind of aesthetic. It's all right because they're playing around with it. Simpsons and Futurama just did it in the style of the show. That's fine. This has got something different. And it didn't look like they were kind of, experimenting with anything. It just looked like it was probably the cheapest and quickest thing to do.
I could imagine him writing a 12,000-page novel about this. Is what I'm saying.
He shits it out like Stephen King. No, I kind of feel like those characters were sort of shat out after, the original premise, which was right. So we had Simpsons is kind of modern times, and we've got one in the future. So the natural progression is one in the past. There we go.
Yeah,
how do we do that?
Well, no, the natural progression is one even more in the future. Superama.
All right, you might want to cut that out because I think we need to jump on that, patent that tonight.
Clearly, Pastorama is the best joke there because it's got two meanings. What? Well, do you have anything else you want to complain about?
I think I've sufficiently blown my load.
Is that keyboard
with
still in your corridor?
Yes, it is.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Why would it?
Well,
that's my as far as I'm concerned, that's my property.
Yeah, well, just sell it is what I'm saying. Didn't you buy it and then decide, oh, actually, I don't like playing the keyboard. Why the fuck did I buy this?
No, it was bought. We received it, and it was like, this is too monstrously fucking huge for where we live. We must get rid of this. How can we live?
Like they start like wheeling up this piano.
Yeah, I live in this kind of box flat, right? And I should have specified. It's a fucking Steinway with 88 keys. It weighs 2 tons.
But how long is it?
I would say like 7 foot wide or something like that.
Okay, all right.
It's as wide as a tall person is tall. That was very eloquent. Have you tried that again? No, that's fine. One and done.
If you want to try it again, I'll just hum over it or something.
No, it's absolutely fine. It's long. There we go.
I guess that's the. I guess we've reached the end.
Yeah, but I think we have.
Yeah.
So I think we were on topic for. I think this was a record of like 7 seconds. Well, maybe not. I think it could be argued that simply by mentioning the topic.
We've been on topic for like half of the time. If I just change the topic to Disenchantment.
Or school shit.
School shit, yeah.
Volume 4.
No, when we were talking earlier, I thought I'll call this one Precious Memories.
Okay.
Remember when Boothie wrote that thing on the whiteboard? Oh, please buy a t-shirt supporting my podcast. It's me, the head. Fucking hell, I'm terrified. That was my entire experience as a 7-year-old. Getting home from school, putting on Art Attack, even though I knew it had this terrifying thing at the end of it, and then being terrified by the thing at the end of it.
Do you get it? A narrow boat!
How did he do anything? He didn't have any arms. That was scary.
It wasn't actually like a disembodied head. You understand that, right?
It was a statue.
Oh, fuck it. What am I thinking of then with a disembodied head?
Yeah, it was a statue of just a head. It was a bust.
Oh, right, okay. I'm seeing like an orange head in a box that they would open up. Maybe this is something
What
else.
is that?
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna have to do some digging.
Yeah, or not. Or just forget about this.
Fucking bury it again.
And then I'll
Clearly,
get
it was for a reason.
I'll get a message on Facebook from somebody in 6 months saying about that orange box in the head, and I'll immediately stop reading. So I'm not even going to.
Open your front door. Oh, sorry, I can't. What's the access code?
I mean, yeah, sorry, I'm just going to completely. I'm not going to look into what I was trying to say. I don't want to remember anything. Go fuck yourself.
Oh well, I think that's exactly where the cut should be.
Yeah.
And I guess we'll keep the topic in the bank for next week, though.
I mean, I did mention video games several times.
Or maybe after you put up the little ident, you could just throw up a quick apology. So next week we'll actually be doing it.
Damien, I'm never going to apologise for anything on this show. Yeah, once I do one apology, that's it.
Opens the floodgates.
I've got to apologise for 1,000 things. I'm
Fair enough.
sorry we did this. Sorry we yet again attempted to. I don't know. Oh, we didn't attempt to do anything. We just recorded it. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
You're really unsure about that one.
Yeah.
Maybe you won't see us next week.
Maybe you can drop dead. All right.
Oh.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thanks very much.
Developer,